Thank you for joining me today. We are talking about an important topic, which is some confusion between Zoho campaigns and Zoho marketing automation. My goal today is to help clear a lot of that up. Let's get into the fun. So a big question we might have is, which tool is the right one for your business? My name is Candice Dorizo. I am a Zoho partner certified in CRM, Zoho campaigns, Zoho social. I've been a partner for at least 7 years. I've been a Zoho user for, I think, a little bit more than 8 years. And I have a background in marketing and sales for more than 20 years. Makes me sound old. So some of the common features that both platforms have are that they both can send email and SMS campaigns, whether in a campaign format like a broadcast or by automated triggers. They both have lead forms. I'm sorry, I'm saying they both. What I mean to say is these are the common features you're going to see in any marketing automation tool. So whether it's Zoho or Go High Level or Active Campaign, these are the things that you're usually looking for in terms of features. There's also paid ad tracking. Is there integrated reporting, A/B testing, segmenting your audience, and of course, third-party integration. Now, the things that these two platforms have in common is that they both offer email and SMS campaigns. They both include variations on A/B testing. They both have audience segmentation, automated campaigns, which are sometimes called workflows, other times they're called journeys. They have general performance tracking of your campaigns. They have a ton of integrations, and of course, contact scoring, which assigns a numerical score to one of your contacts based on their interactivity. Now, the things that are slightly different about Zoho Marketing Automation is that it also comes in with the campaign planner, you get the landing page builder, you get website pop-up forms. They have these lead qualification stages I can show you, and it also includes WhatsApp campaigns. The other thing to keep in mind is that Zoho Campaigns has been around a lot longer. Zoho Marketing Automation is in, I think, its 3rd iteration. It's a much newer app compared to Zoho Campaigns. They are very similar. They compete, basically. Zoho doesn't allow you to integrate your CRM with both apps. So you have to choose one or the other. And my goal with this conversation today is to help you decide which one is the right one for your business. So the businesses who are ideal for Zoho campaigns are usually small and medium-sized businesses with simpler needs. You want to send a monthly newsletter, you've got maybe a welcome campaign that drips, very simple stuff. Your primary focus is on email and SMS. Like I said, the big attraction of Zoho campaigns is it's been around longer. So they've debugged things and added all the basics that you need. Now, it's ideal to be in marketing automation if you're an e-commerce business or retail. You have much more robust marketing tactics that you want to track across multiple channels. Maybe just complex multi-channel marketing campaigns that you also need the planner to use, and you maybe have multiple team members involved. So let's go take a look at these platforms and do some comparison. The first thing I want to point out is the contacts section. So here in Zoho Campaigns, when you click on contacts, and let's say go to all contacts, it's just going to give me my list of all my contacts here. Very similarly, in marketing automation, there's a contacts dashboard. If I click to view all contacts, this is the comparable view. It's basically the same thing. And you're still going to have the by marketing, non-marketing. That user experience is almost identical. It's just laid out slightly differently. The next thing to note are lists and segments. So a list is what you've always known in email marketing, which is put everybody into this big list, this big grouping. It is static. That's the key word here. Once I add somebody to that, I need to manually, or with an automation, remove them. And so both campaigns have that. They have their lists. All right, I have my main list, my sample list. I can do the same thing over here. I can have multiple lists. Segments, on the other hand, are dynamic. In a segment, you set criteria. So this is my test segment, and I could say where the city contains, actually, I won't do city, that's too hard. Let's say state. Where the state contains, I don't know what information I have in here. We'll go with New York. I don't think there's anyone in this segment, but I'll just roll with it. So anytime I update someone in my CRM to have the state New York, they will dynamically be added to the segment, no matter what list they're on. They can be on 3 different lists or just one list, but they will be in this segment. And this is the exact same functionality you have in Zoho Campaigns. You can make a segment with the exact same criteria. Now, something you will note, though, it looks a bit different. It didn't force me to the is. And this is like a text field. I actually like this better about Zoho Campaigns because sometimes you have a typo, but I can see my criteria, and then I can see if I had any contacts in here, they would be listed here. And here I would have to go over to criteria. Now, what I do really like about marketing automation, and you can see the differences, what campaigns is this segment associated? What journeys is it associated to? Whereas Zoho Campaigns does not have that. So that's kind of your overview of all the contact related things. Now, of course, they both have sign up forms. They both have contact scoring. They both have topics. If you don't know what a topic is, when people are engaged with your business through email marketing or SMS, they may opt in to get your newsletter, or they may opt in to get specific product updates. Those are 2 different topics that they can opt into. So this helps to reduce your unsubscribe rate. So somebody can get to a topics page and they can opt out of your newsletter but stay updated on your products. And both platforms have that as well. So you have topics either way. And you can add as many topics as is appropriate. Just note that the topic name and the topic description are public. So you can insert that into the footer, and I recommend that, of your email campaign so that someone can see, you've been opted into marketing. This means that you'll get our monthly email, blah, 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 blah. So contacts, that's the basic overview. The next thing I want you to look at are how you make campaigns. So in Zoho Campaigns, it's campaigns. And you can either send an email campaign or SMS. When I go to an email campaign, on the right, I click Create, and I'm going to get this view of all these different options. So you got regular, A/B testing, an RSS feed, and all these integrated apps. Marketing automation is very similar, but it's under marketing campaigns because it has email, social, SMS, WhatsApp, and engagement pop-ups, which that's not really my version of a campaign, but that's a different conversation. But if I was to choose email campaign and click Create, this is a slightly different user experience, right? So I'm going to say test, I'm going to say what topic it is, and then I'm going to choose the type. But these actually are kind of the same. So if I was to pick survey, I would have to make sure that Zoho survey is integrated. But you can see we've got those 2 surveys, right? So it's the same functionality, slightly different user experience. So you can send your broadcast emails this way, broadcast SMS this way. Same thing in Zoho Campaigns. Very similar setup. Now, of course, if you're doing SMS, you have to remember to connect to your SMS provider ahead of time. That's a different conversation. Now, the next thing is going to be journeys versus automation. So in Zoho Campaigns, it's called automation. And they call them workflows in here. Again, same functionality. If I click Create Workflow, I'm going to get some templates. If I go to Journeys, and I want to create a journey, again, different user experience, but I'm still going to get a list of templates. And actually, it's the same. They just use different images, basically. So like, welcome and thank you, welcome and onboarding, simple follow-up series, simple follow-up journey. So really almost identical user experience, just marketing automation is visually more appealing in all fairness. So if I was to use this template, form submission, same idea here. I'm picking the exact same one from both platforms. The templates are slightly different, but it's the same idea. How does somebody enter my journey? It's through form submission, or are they added to a list? I'm going to put a time delay, send an email. Time delay, push data to the CRM. Send a message, time delay, push data to the CRM. So you're going to see a lot of the same things. Depending on your level of subscription, you might have different triggers, something to keep in mind. So you've got all these form submission. They've got a few more triggers, I think, in marketing automation. So if you are in e-commerce, you actually have these e-commerce specific triggers in Zoho campaigns. They also have them here in marketing automation, but they also have a few other ones like exited a segment. There's just some things to consider. And of course, there's the WhatsApp integration in here. And there's just a few more small things to compare. But for the most part, they're about the same. Let's get right here. Now, the last thing I would point out is just the library. In both, you have a library of your images and files and your email templates. It is noticeable, oops, let me go to my library, that in Zoho campaigns, you've got images here, and you can import from Google Photos, Flickr, or Giphy. Whereas here, it's like you can create a connection and use them more easily. It's just a slightly better user experience, in my opinion. But again, identical. So that is how the two platforms are pretty much the same. Now, how is marketing automation different from Zoho campaigns? The first one that some people really like is the lead generation landing pages. So this actually leverages Zoho landing pages, which is its own app, but they pulled it in here, and you can make a landing page. You can use one of their templates, you can drag and drop, you can put a form in there. So when you have a campaign with a very specific end goal, you could use this and it flows right in. And you'll also have the ability to push the data to your CRM, keep them in the marketing automation platform, to have response actions based on what they do. So if a form was submitted, I want to add them to a certain list, and maybe I want to assign a tag. You'll also, of course, be able to track the website actions. Did somebody hover on this landing page for a long time? How long were they there, etc. And you'll get this nice conversion rate reporting. Whoops. Right here, right? You'll see how many visitors came, how many actually completed the form, what is that conversion rate. So that's pretty handy, especially if you like landing pages and you want to be using them a lot for your lead generation effort. The thing I really love actually is the planner. So you actually can have like a campaign planner here. So if I'm doing a marketing campaign to promote the brand, I can say my aim is increase brand awareness. And then I can say brand awareness campaign, my budget's $100. I'm starting today. We're going to be running this for the next 3 months. And I can now make sub goals. So think about more like KPIs. So maybe my first KPI is, I don't know, our SEO tracking, something like that. So it could be based on organic search or something. Maybe that's a better way. Organic search. And then the metric would be organic website visits. My target is whatever. And now I can proceed. I can actually also go back in here and then add more. And this is the second part of the campaign planner where I can say specific digital activities. So email campaign, SMS, maybe I'm going to an event. Actually, I guess I would do that as an offline thing. But maybe this is like a paid ad. So I want to track it here. I put my tracking URL, etc. That is incredibly handy if you like that big picture tracking, you want it in a single place. If I was to come up with an idea for an email campaign, I want to say testing this email, blah, blah, blah. I can even make a task list in here. You could really run all of your marketing, your tasks, and your overall ideas out of here. And I could say this is just an ideation right now. Oh, I need a real launch date. In the future. There we go. Probably should pick a day. So it's ideation, and yet maybe I want to change it to in progress. Great. I can also customize these statuses, by the way. Not a bad idea. I'm not going to right now, but you can add other things. Here's my planner goals. I can add more goals here. I can document my budget here. I can see the contacts associated with this marketing campaign here. There's a lot you can do in here. You could get lost in that planner. In a good way, though. It's really productive. The other thing I mentioned before is, of course, integrations with WhatsApp. And, of course, your website analytics, which is pretty handy. So if I was to connect Google Analytics here, you could see the Google Analytics tracking as well as the landing page tracking here. And, of course, you get smart URLs, which is like URL, like for tracking purposes. So you could create your tracking codes in here. And that's kind of the basics of comparing the two and understanding the value of having one versus the other. I guess the last thing I'd mention is within your contacts, if I go to my contacts dashboard, it is nice having some of the reporting that looks like this versus the really basic reporting. When you use Zoho campaigns, at least for me, I'm very dependent on using Zoho Analytics to get more robust reporting. And that's kind of still true for marketing automation in certain ways, but this is coming along faster, I'm finding. The last thing is, of course, lead qualification. You can actually set up, just like you do in the CRM, qualification stages and move people through like a pipeline, but like a marketing pipeline. And then you can even have attribution reports if you use that. So that could be helpful if that is something you're interested in. So what are your next steps in your marketing journey? One, I want you to identify your key performance indicators for showing success, because your goals will outline your needs really. Second is your process. What is your current process for managing marketing campaigns? Now, of course, I've only been talking about email and SMS, but you saw in marketing automation, we also have social media in here. So in theory, if you have Zoho marketing automation, you don't also need Zoho social. I would argue Zoho social is a better platform, but that's just me. But what is your process for managing your overall marketing campaigns? Have that documented. I recommend a diagram even, just to make it really easy for you to understand. And then with your goals and process outlined, it's easy to say, well, this is exactly what I need. What are my make or break features? I absolutely need journeys to include this feature. I absolutely need to be able to tracking my paid ad campaigns and combining that data with my organic, whatever those pieces are. And then last is improvements. So which platform will help you achieve your goals and make your process better? Because your process, the reason you're probably here is because you're looking to improve your overall process. So I welcome your questions and discussion, and I would look forward to hearing from you.